My name is Joshua Free. I'm a manager at Inkcredible at Lancaster location. We have other 2 locations, one Middletown and the second one in E-Town. I've been doing this for about a half a year now at this location. I do help manage a couple other side projects and businesses as well.
Awesome. And what got you into tattooing? And let's go as deep as you want back.
Yeah, totally. So the first tattoo gun I got from a group of boys. So I basically lived at a transitional living or state living, like an orphanage almost, for young adults. So I remember one Christmas they'd always kind of give us a stipend, if you will, for Christmas. So all the boys gathered their stipend together secretly, and then got me a tattoo machine. And they're like, "Oh, there's one condition." I'm like, "Okay, what's the condition?" Of course, they wanted me to tattoo their legs and stuff like that. So I was like, "Okay, cool." So we did that. The only funny thing was that the staff would walk around every so often to check on the room. So every now and then we had to like pack up all the tattoo machine and hide it in the roof.
Oh, so it was a contraband still.
Yeah. We had drop ceilings there, so we like hit them and we're like, acting like nothing. Which I'm sure the staff knew that I was the one doing tattoos. But it was super cool. Just the thought that they, thought that I could do it, and they kind of got me into that. So that was the first tattoo machine I've ever had. And then the second one was my partner. He bought me a couple machines and kind of pushed me to do some tattoos. He was like, "I'm going to get you the appointments, I'll get you the bookings," and things of that nature. So that kind of like flourished from that end and kind of got me more into the tattooing world.
And before that, how did people kind of notice your skills in that area? Were you a doodler, a painter, a sketcher? Like, kind of what mediums did you play around with?
Yeah, totally. So I kind of dabbled in everything, which is kind of why people thought. I was in school for engineering at the time. I also did fashion design on the side in New York, so like fashion sewing and clothing, a couple of runway shows. And kind of did a little bit of everything, kind of jack of all trades. And then I kind of just routed into the art industry. I started doing from clothing to murals on the walls. I would doodle, paint, I would make sculptures out of tape, like literally dirt, and I would make art. So yeah, they kind of had that trust in me and wanted something permanent that was mine on them. And I kind of thought that was cool. It's like living art. It's on a human, So that kind of piqued my interest a little more, and I got into a little by little after doing like working with other mediums. Right.
Take me to New York a little bit, and kind of what brought you down here to Lancaster? What part of life's journey brought you down here?
Yeah, totally. So New York was kind of like life blowing me in that direction. I was born in Georgia, then I moved to Puerto Rico from 4 to like 12. And then after that, we moved to New York, New Jersey, tri-state area, and that's kind of like where the artsy-fartsy kind of things started popping off. I started seeing like, the murals on the walls that people would spray paint in New York, and just like, just side street, like street art, streetwear, fashion, and things like that kind of like sparking my interest. And I remember kind of growing up in a environment where I didn't have too much access to like toys and things of that nature, so my creativity definitely sparked in like seeing things that weren't necessarily there, so my art was a little bit more mental, and then I kind of just had to like bring it out in a sense. Like in my head it's already there, there's nothing for me to create, you get me? I'm just like peeling these layers off, and and I do the same thing in anything, whether it's fashion, mural work, terrariums, like and it kind of sparked from there. So in New York I went to school for fashion design, and I learned a lot of, I guess, things from the trade, and I kind of took that and input it into different forms of art. So like I used to get Dorito bags because I like to recycle, and I sewed them together and made a dress.
Nice.
Just things like that, like things that are unconventional that you don't regularly see, and I feel like that's the point of art, to bring to light things that are non-existent,
So seeing that was like that idea that everybody has the blank canvas and it's always there, and I appreciate the way you present it too, because it's like you're a sculptor with a non-tangible sculptor.
Yeah.
So like you're seeing it and then you can create it, whereas like a sculptor might take a square block and then create it.
Right.
It's always like how they say the same thing. Like it's always there. They see that square block and turn it. And you're doing the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's with anything. and it's a little problem with me because I try not to be too much of a hoarder. I'm like, oh my god, I could use that for something, you know. So there's always little side projects, but I definitely get things done.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about when people come in here? What's the mix of like where people say to you, "Hey, here's my idea, go crazy," versus like are there a lot? What's the kind of the ratio versus people that have their predetermined ideas?
I see. I would say it's a little 50-50 to be honest. A lot of people come in here with a decision and they know exactly what they want down to like the little dots, which is nice because you know they know what they want, they know where they want it, so there's not too much back and forth. But then sometimes somebody comes in and say, "Hey, I like cats. Do me something."
Yeah.
You know, and it's definitely fun because they give you a little topic or a little scenario of what they kind of want, and then you can kind of create from there. But then other times people are like, I don't know what I want or where I want it. Just give me something. So then, it definitely gives a little more creative freedom, but then there's like too much, you know? And it's like, man, I gotta like size this down to like fit it. And then they come in and they're like, oh, where you want it? And be like, oh, I want it here. And it's hilarious because it's like, I'm not, you know, got all these ideas, it's not gonna fit there. So it's definitely nice to ask people like the size, what they kind of think. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the creative ones have been super fun. I like doing things again that are wacky that you don't really see, like a octopus cat, you know, things of like that nature. But we get a lot of like the fine line work is pretty popular right now. Old school traditional is always a thing.
Do you get anybody coming in during Rumspringa to get their tattoos?
No, no, not yet. But we get a lot of people for random holidays. So far, our best holiday is Friday the 13th.
Nice.
Whenever it may land, there's lines out the door.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really big holiday for tattoo artists. So totally. In the beginning, I remember it being nerve-wracking, and I kind of had to put a name to the nerves so I can tell the nerves to shut up, almost like in what was it, Bruno?
Yeah.
Like silencio, Bruno. You know? So like quite literally like that. And then I'll take a couple deep breaths in and just kind of go. And it's pretty interesting of a process just to think again it's going to be on the body for the rest of your life, and that's why it's always nice when somebody like knows what they want, because it's like, okay, I know you want it, it's significant to you, but then when you get into like the details of it, a lot of people come here for like it's actually therapy, you know, because they're spending their hard-earned, you know, cash to come here. It's not something they need, you know, you can survive without a tattoo, but it's an art that, you know, you can carry with you. I always think of it as something that I can kind of take to the grave because it's part of my body. And yeah, those conversations definitely get deep and intimate. A lot of people do come to get like past relatives, names, dates, geolocations, kind of like me. So yeah, there's definitely markings that people want to carry on forever. And yeah, sometimes I get to get people out of their shell, you know, which is nice. I get to hear the things that they don't usually want to talk about, and it's nice because it's almost like a release. As I'm tattooing them, they're obviously experiencing pain, but it's the pain that they want to experience for, or to overcome whatever they're trying to overcome. There's been a lot of people with like domestic violence. There's been people who with scar marks who come in to try to, you know, cover that up. There's been women who've been like pimped and they get marked by their pimp, so they get those things covered up. So it's kind of nice to almost like give people a fresh start essentially to life, or give them a start to life, because some people come in for their first tattoo and it's like, oh my god, this is my rebellious era, you know what I'm saying? And some people come in for their 100th tattoo and they're just like, you know, feeling and going with the vibe. So I definitely think it's like a therapy. And me just being like a people person and going through all the situations I went through in life, I'm like, why did I go through all these things, you know? But it allowed me to become so relatable to people, you know? So like I could relate to a 4-year-old or like a 90-year-old based off of so many different criteria, you get what I'm saying? Like down to like a cartoon that I color, or like voiceovers that are also done. So I don't know, making a pot pie with Granny, you know? But it's definitely an experience that it's nice just to talk to people and kind of hear them when they want to talk, you know?
You know, and it's a skill that like it's a profession that too many people look at what the delivered product is and not what the experience is. And that experience being both the experience of getting the tattoo done, the release that is, the therapeutic release, and it's not for everybody, you know what I mean? If it's not, but the great thing about it is if it isn't for you, it isn't for you. And if it is for you, it can be like a powerful situation. I mean, yeah, like I appreciate, like a lot of times I interview bartenders and people in the beer business and the alcohol business and alcohol and distilling, and they look at their role as a very therapeutic role as well. Like because people come in and they'll drink and tell them stories that they might not say at home, or they're using it to escape home or whatever. And I think that, but yours is like they have a responsibility at the end of the day to make sure the person doesn't overconsume and drive home or anything like that. But yours is just so powerful because it is such a permanent thing. And I think that that's credibility to you all as well, that somebody can walk in here with their hard-earned money and choose you and say, like, I want you to be the permanent mark on me. And I think that there's a real power in that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like there's a transfer of energy there, them with you and you with them. Obviously, you're putting a piece of art on them that's going to last them forever. And they'll always remember your face because of it, you know, the experience that they had during that time, whether it was a pleasant experience or not. Sometimes people get tattoo covered up because they didn't like the experience versus the tattoo. So you're definitely right on that end. Yeah, it's a release, it's therapeutic, you know.
Awesome.
I agree.